Hi everybody, thought I'd give you a real quick update on what's been going on with the van. I've been kind of at a standstill here because I was just having so much problems with the water system. I got it all hooked up and turned it on, and the water pressure was just so minimal, so tiny. I just, it was blowing my mind. I'm no plumber. That's obvious. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Is uh, I mean, it's only got enough pressure to just barely turn the instant hot water heater on, and it would kick on, kick off, and then if I turn the cold on and try to get lukewarm out of my faucet, it would just like kick the heater off. And I was like, man, what is going on here? And as you know, I'm using these bilge pumps, these pumps that are designed to go in the bottom of a boat and suck out any excess water that gets into it. Well, I started researching it, and I realized exactly what I was doing wrong. Finally, the Lord showed me this. I was basically, it's kind of, you kind of look at a pump the same way you would look at something that moves air. Um, a fan, you can have a really high powered fan, and I mean, it can put out tons of air, right? But you can't use that fan to blow up a tire, right? You can't get enough air pressure to force air into your tire. It's just, that's basically what I was doing. I was trying to use this high powered fan to force water through the line. It just wasn't working. And the Lord showed me I just needed to switch to a different kind of pump. And I need to actually be using an outside the water system, outside the water tank RV style pump. So what I did, I went out and purchased this RV pump, 12 volt pump off of Amazon. It's a self-priming, and also it's a 45 psi, that's pounds per square inch. It's got an automatic shut off and turn on switch, so when it senses the pressure is released, it kicks on, starts pumping. Comes with a little strainer that you mount so that you don't get any odd particles into the pump system. What I also purchased along with this is what's called an accumulator tank or expansion tank. And what this does is you hook it in line with your pump, and the water comes out of it and goes into what you're trying to feed it into. And the purpose of the expansion tank is it keeps your pressure at a constant, even, steady rate, instead of that, that vibrated where like, say maybe you might just turn your faucet on just a little bit, not a lot, and your pump senses some loss of pressure, it kicks on, senses full pressure, kicks off, senses some loss of pressure, and so to do that butterfly vibrating thing. Well, the expansion tank is supposed to reduce that, and apparently it's supposed to have be already pressurized some. I haven't checked the pressure in it yet, and if you need to put more pressure in it, you just use a bicycle pump and pump it up right here at the top. It's just your standard valve. There's like a bladder in there apparently that it holds pressure on the line. So that's what that does. So the water's going to come in from this. I just put one of these at the end to weight it down so it stays in the bottom of the tank. And then comes up through here, goes, the pump pumps it through, goes into the expansion tank, comes out, and then it tees off here. And the reason it tees off is one way it goes straight up to the cold of the faucet. The other way it goes into the inlet of the instant hot water heater, and then it comes back out instant hot water heater and runs up to the hot side. So that way I should have hot and cold running water. Now this, I just now hooked it up. I never tried it before, and we're going to experiment and see together how this works. And what I'm going to do is, I don't want to, it's winter time, I don't want to fill this all up with water. I just got a gallon jug I'm going to drop this down into, and then use that to pump the water in. Okay, the pump just automatically shut off. All right, I see a leak. Where's that coming from? It's coming from around my T. Seems to be this connection right here. Hot water, haha. Nice stream. Okay, suck that gallon dry. That's it for that. All right, we're gonna do test number 2. This time I got a much bigger water jug. I took that whole piece apart, re-spliced it, and put it back on. Hopefully that got rid of the leak. And so now let's see if we have a water leak now. This will be test number 2. Got good water pressure. Don't see any water coming out the spot where it was. Seems to be holding. Now let's see how it holds up to pressure. So just word of advice to anybody who is hooking up a RV water pump in their van. I do have a kill switch right there next to my water faucet, and you definitely want a kill switch. You want to not have the system on at all when you're not in the van, when you're away. Because as you see, if you spring a leak, your pump is just going to keep trying to meet that pressure, and you'll come back to a flood in your van. Your floor will be, all that water that's right there will be on the floor, or whatever, however much water you have, and your pump will be pumping dry. So definitely want to turn it off when you're not in the van. But with the pump being self-shutting off when everything's working properly, you can just leave it on while you're in here, and just remember, if you go anywhere, throw that switch and kill the power to the pump, because if you spring a leak, you're gonna come home to a mess. So anyways, I still not sure my drain pipe is working. I ended up having to use this obnoxiously too long of a drain pipe, and I tried cutting it down. The problem is that these pipes with ridges are not designed to be cut to length, and there's no way to get a good seal around what you're sealing it to without it being smooth. And they've just got designated smooth spots, and that's it. You cut it where they want you to cut it, or that's it. But one thing, of course, this isn't going to be outside the cabinet like it is right now, but one thing I do like about the loop being in it is for this much right here, it's got water in it. Definitely no small insects are going to be able to come up through your drain pipe from outside and get into the camper, unless they're good swimmers. Plus I have some of this screen. I put some of this pretty good sized screen over the drain. I mean, oh yeah, it's running into a gray. It's running into a gray tank. Yeah, that's what I meant. I didn't do none of that. No, it just runs straight into what I call an infinity gray tank. So let's test out the hot water now. See the fire's on. We have hot water. Oh man. Not seeing any leaks anywhere. One thing I gotta check. Sometimes it'll drip down these lines. Nope, it's totally dry. It's not running down that line. So you gotta watch. Sometimes the water will start from its source and just drip and just run down to a loop in the line and then drip off there. We don't have anything like that happening. Looks like all my connections are good now, finally. It's holding up to pressure. We have a water system. Now, I'm contemplating redoing my tank. Before, I was trying to use one of those, when I was trying to use one of those bilge pumps, the pump actually had to be able to go inside the tank. And with this, all I have to have is the hose go into the tank. And so I don't need a big opening like I have. I could just get a regular tank if I want. I'll look around and I'll give you further updates on that. So there's my water system. Oh man, I'm loving that pressure. That is awesome. Loving it, loving it, loving it. That is so awesome to see and hear, man. You don't know how long I have strived for that. My other van, it just trickled out because I was just using a bilge pump. I wasn't using a regular RV pump. So lesson learned, everybody. You don't want to use a bilge pump. You want to use a regular RV pump. And this one was actually cheaper than the bilge pump was. So it's not like it's going to break you to do that. And you can hear it's not that loud. If I turn the water on, can't even hardly hear it running. It's pretty quiet. I have to go ahead and run this out and winterize it. I don't want to leave any water in here in the winter time. We've been dropping below freezing every night, and so I'm going to go ahead and thank you for watching, everybody. Have a blessed day in Jesus.